You know it, you love it. It's chocolate. In our culture, it comes in just about every shape and size, and we use it for almost everything. Some of you might even be craving some right now. But what do we really know about it? Where did it come from? And more importantly, why was the original version a gritty, bitter, and often spicy drink? If you think the answer is simple, you're not totally wrong, but also not totally right. Because chocolate is a curious concoction that blends ancient tradition, a bit of scientific discovery, and a dash of marketing genius into one sweet and revolutionary thing we know today. So get ready, because we're about to uncover the strange, bitter, and storied journey of chocolate. Before we go all the way back, let's look at what we have now. At its core, modern chocolate is a solid, sweet confection made from roasted and ground cacao seeds. Its taste is rich, sweet, and melty. It's a fixture in our candy aisles, a go-to gift for Valentine's Day, and a staple of our desserts. But the sweet, solid chocolate bar of today is a world away from where it started. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to its roots. Chocolate actually has sacred and ancient roots. Literally. Before it became a candy bar, it was a valuable food of the gods. Early civilizations in Mesoamerica, like the Olmec, Mayans, and later the Aztecs, were the first to cultivate the cacao tree. They would harvest the beans, ferment and roast them, and grind them into a paste, but they didn't add sugar. Instead, they mixed this paste with water, cornmeal, chili peppers, and other spices to create a thick, frothy, and bitter beverage called chocolate. This early version was not made for a kid's birthday party, but for spirituality and status. It was a sacred drink used in religious ceremonies, reserved for the elite like priests, nobles, and great warriors. The cacao beans themselves were so valuable, they were even used as currency. This brings us to the part that throws people off. Why was it so intensely bitter and spicy? Despite the sweetness you find in chocolate today, that flavor was completely absent. The original chocolatl earned its reputation as a powerful, unsweetened drink because that's what it was. Pure, unadulterated cacao, often with a spicy kick. For the Aztecs, this bitterness was part of its power. But that all changed with the Spanish conquest. When conquistadors like Hernán Cortés encountered the drink in the early 1500s, they found it far too bitter for their palate. However, they saw its potential. They shipped the beans back to Spain, and there they became the first to experiment by mixing the paste with sugar and familiar spices like cinnamon. This simple act transformed chocolate from a sacred savory drink into a sweet, luxurious one for the European aristocracy. But for centuries, even in Europe, chocolate remained a drink. The solid bar we know and love today owes its existence to two key figures from the Industrial Revolution. First, in 1828, a Dutch chemist named Conrad van Houten invented the cocoa press. This brilliant machine could squeeze the natural fat, the cocoa butter, out of the roasted beans, leaving behind a fine, dry cocoa powder. This made the drink smoother and easier to make, but more importantly, it separated the two key ingredients from making solid chocolate. The second breakthrough came 50 years later. In 1879, a Swiss inventor named Rodolphe Lindt created the conching machine. This machine would heat and slowly mix chocolate for hours, sometimes days. This process aerated the chocolate, drove off any remaining bitterness, and created the perfectly smooth, melty texture that defines modern chocolate. These two inventions, the press and the conch, were the game changers that made the solid chocolate bar possible. But as chocolate went mainstream, something fundamental changed.
Hershey's Big Block is so thick.
The defining quality of early chocolate was its rarity and pure cacao flavor. However, in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, entrepreneurs like Milton Hershey in America and the Cadbury family in England saw the potential for a mass market. They used Van Houten's and Lindt's new technologies to mass-produce solid milk chocolate. They perfected formulas that were less expensive to make, often with more sugar and milk, making chocolate affordable and accessible to the general public for the very first time. While this made chocolate a beloved treat for everyone, some argue that in the rush to standardize and sweeten, it lost a little of its character and the complex soul of the original cacao bean. This shift democratized chocolate, and it also paved the way for industrial production to dominate the market. Interestingly, our version of chocolate isn't universal. American mass-market chocolate, for instance, often uses a process that gives it a slightly tangy taste that many Europeans find puzzling, sometimes describing it as tasting sour. But just as industrial versions took over, a counter-movement began. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, a bean-to-bar craft chocolate movement emerged. These artisans reject mass-market candy and focus on single-origin, ethically sourced cacao. They seek to bring back the authentic, complex flavors of the original bean, celebrating notes of fruit, nuts, or earth that get lost in industrial processing. Thanks to them, we are now living in a golden age of choice, from the classic, nostalgic bars of our childhood to small-batch artisanal creations that honor chocolate's deep roots, a full-circle return to appreciating the bean itself. So, is chocolate the sweet candy we think it is? To put it simply, not anymore, or at least not originally. What began as a bitter, sacred drink for Aztec gods and warriors was transformed by Spanish sugar, reinvented by Dutch and Swiss machinery, and delivered to the world by American and English marketing. It's a story of conquest, invention, and a total flavor revolution. So, there you have it, the strange, bitter, and sweet journey of chocolate. It's not quite what it started as, but it has centuries of tradition behind it, a form born from invention, and a place in our culture that still sparks joy and curiosity today. It reminds us that even the simplest things, a sweet treat, a candy bar, a comforting drink, can have surprisingly deep roots. What do you think? What's your favorite kind of chocolate? A classic milk chocolate bar or a dark, single-origin craft bar? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.